so I'm gonna intro it.
Did you pull that out of my drawer?
Gonna do.
Or is that a different
Yeah. No, it was that one. Yeah, Brian. Yes. Desanitize first.
There's our open.
And go!
That's great. Thank you, sir. Oh my God. This is all you, Romi.
You can see your finger.
Welcome to the Sports Office. I am Ryan Green. You, of course, know Romi Bean and Michael Spencer. They are the normal anchors. We are in the back of the Sports Office right now, where we normally do our Welcome to the Sports Office show. If you are unfamiliar, it's a show that we do online that mainly focuses on the conversational aspects of what we get to talk about rather than informational aspects of it. Guys, recently it's been a bit tough to be conversational about sports because there really hasn't been any sports going on. How are you guys handling the things nowadays at your job? Like, what's working here like now for you?
We're staying away from one another.
We
as
are.
much
We're
as
staying
possible.
away.
Thank goodness for NFL free agency, right? Like, because I think it's not just us, it's the entire sports world that has had nothing to talk about. There's been no live games, except I did see Australian rules football was on this weekend, and like people were losing it. Like, oh my God, there's something live to watch on television. But thank goodness for NFL free agency, which got us through Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, because there was something going on.
Yeah.
It's honestly, it's been so surreal. Like, I mean, we keep talking about this has never happened before, and it's kind of been crazy to see how sports affects everybody. Like, everybody is somehow the fact that no sports are being played. You know, it's weird in one way or another for everybody. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's kind of been the craziest part, is seeing how everyone's dealing with it.
Absolutely. All right, so let's start with what Mike said. We're going to talk about NFL free agency. The Broncos signed a bunch of people, got a bunch of people, traded for a bunch of people. AJ Bouye now, Jarrell Casey. Jeff Driscoll is now a Bronco. Who else am I forgetting?
Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon is now a Bronco. I'm going to ask you two if you liked what the Broncos have done in free agency. But on Welcome to the Sports Office, we do it a little differently. We have a coin decide our argument. We will turn to the yes or no coin, okay? So that is
Please give me
that
yes.
is what we're gonna find out. All right, well, we're gonna find out, Mike. Michael, have you liked what the Broncos have done in free agency so far? The coin says no, you haven't. No, he has not. So why have you not liked the Broncos free agency so far?
All right, well, here's the thing. Yes, they got some pieces, but the pieces that they got are a bit older, right? Like, Jarrell Casey's played 9 years in the league. Melvin Gordon maybe on the tail end of his career. So, yeah, they got some names, but I don't know that they got young names that are going to be able to propel them for the next couple of years. The Broncos aren't making it to the Super Bowl in 2020. Yes, you have a young offense, you have young offensive pieces. I don't know that they did enough to add younger guys who are maybe in the prime of their career. Instead, they added a bunch of guys who may be on the back end of their career and are hoping that they can get them over the hump.
We have spent a lot of off seasons going, you know what, I kind of like what the Broncos have done in the past couple off seasons. It really hasn't made a difference. So this could be another one of those. Romi, why did you like what the Broncos have done so far in the off season?
Oh, okay.
You get the yes.
There's still a lot of holes on this team. We talk about this young core of Phillip Lindsay, of Cortland Sutton, and then, you know, Bradley Chubb on defense, but there's a ton of holes, and I feel like what the Broncos have done in free agency is really nicely padded the holes. I think they've added a lot of pieces, and now you can see that in I think they'll go heavy wide receiver in the draft. Because they haven't got a speedster. Mm-hmm. But you can see they're filling in a lot of holes that will make this team more competitive and more complete.
I think you make some great points. I regardless of what the coin says, I do think the Broncos are now, it's playoffs or it's a bad
especially
season.
with that 7th team.
Right.
Wow.
Let's move on to some behind-the-scenes video from our CBS Sports department. There has not been a lot of video lately for obvious reasons. I haven't had much to vlog. You do not want to see what I'm doing in quarantine. However, before the lockdown happened, Romi Bean did happen to get outdoors, and you went ice climbing. That seemed nuts. Did you find a new hobby? What was that all about?
It was crazy.
Lightly.
It was fantastic, but it was so involved, and it was so much more intense and so much harder than I thought it was going to be. And there was a lot of like logistical things where Dave and I were under the impression that we were going to hike 20 minutes to the destination. We didn't find out till we got there that it was more like an hour.
Well, not only that, let's check this clip
We're
out.
carrying equipment.
Yeah. So here is kind of the. That's you, right?
Yes.
You've got the tripod and you are going up, sort of going up. Like that's
So the
a straight up mountain.
The incline was so steep that we ended up putting on our crampons because it was so steep that we had to put on our
So you went ice climbing
crampons.
before ice climbing.
Yeah,
Got
so we
it.
didn't slip down, and I was holding the tripod. Dave had the backpack, which had like 4 batteries in it, so it's like 40 pounds. You know what I would say? I was not mentally prepared for the hike. The hike
No,
the hike,
dude, if you're like,
guys, the hike almost broke me. Like I.
And that was before the climb.
but you eventually made it to where you wanted to
Okay.
climb, right? You did pretty well. You like climbed up the thing. Now, once you got to the top, you had to make it back down.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, so the backstory behind this before,
For
like a little lower down, she's like, yeah, okay, that's it. And I was like, no, I want to get to the top, right? So she's
Okay.
like, oh, okay. So she let me go to the top, and then afterwards she's like, this is why I don't let new people climb to the top, because this is what happens.
because this is what happens.
What can happen? Oh,
I mean, that is not where I would want to find myself. Are
That
you
seems-
afraid at all right here? I know you got a big dumb smile on, but like, are you looking down going, that's a quite a ways
it
down.
was so weird because I was just standing there, and all of a sudden I was just like, whoop, and I was just on my backside, like it was.
Before you even realized.
And I was like, I literally say this. How did this happen?
How did
because I was
this
like,
happen? How does it happen?
How could it
I
happen?
don't get it.
All right, so how did we eventually get out
So
of
I
here?
had to like.
You had to do what again?
Now, regardless, or lest we forget, this is after your 1 hour hike with a tripod on your shoulder.
Yes.
You're still
That
sliding
steep
down.
incline.
My abs hurt just from watching this.
This is unbelievable. My forearms are on fire. She
Well,
does it.
there we
That's
go.
pretty impressive.
Ah, I did it. You know, that's like that new challenge. Like
That is pretty
you can't
impressive.
use your hands. you lay on your stomach and you have to get up.
All right, let's move on to our last segment. Normally, it's our hats off segment where we recognize someone that did something cool during the week and that didn't get enough recognition. However, not really a lot going on. So this hats off is gonna go to just cool things that we saw on the internet. Let's start out with Romy Bean. You sent this over. This was your hats off.
Okay. Well, first of all,
Was it the Mike
Oh,
Leach
yeah.
or was it?
Let's start with the Mike Leach. This was early on.
Okay.
Day 2 without sports. Found a lady sitting on my couch. Apparently she's my wife.
That's a Mike Leach
Mike Leach
tweet
is
right there.
fantastic.
That is so Mike Leach.
And
And I
going
am
with
not
my,
surprised.
favorite old coaches, Wade. Okay, so first, Wade Phillips, the best, tweets out STOP, an acronym for Save the Old People. And then he goes again.
I'm continuing my campaign to save the old people. Stop this virus. Execute the game plan. We are a team. America's team.
America's team.
Everyone do their part.
Guys. I mean, it's Wade Phillips.
Listen to Wade. All right, Mike, let's see what you are giving your hats off
This
to.
was one of the first videos of this that we saw, right?
Oh,
We've
yeah.
seen a lot of them. This was from
The trainer.
This was either Italy or Spain.
I think it's
can't
Spain.
remember.
I think this one was Spain.
And he's giving a workout to all these people who are quarantined in their house. And then you started to see, obviously, as the quarantine over here in the States got worse, people starting to post their own workout videos. But I just thought
Up
that
in
was
the
really
windows.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
The windows, the rafters, wherever they could get out to see the. Except who's the one filming skipping out on the workout? That's what I want to know.
That's me. I'm skipping out of the workout. I don't care if I'm quarantined.
Smartest guy in the place.
Mine is actually going to be you, Michael Spencer. Hats off to, well, not you, but your dog.
Yeah.
I am just obsessed with this little nugget. She seemed a little confused as to what push-ups were.
And then she started, and she was like, "Hey, you're not doing it."
Yeah,
Oh my
that's not
God.
enough weight.
Stop it.
Get the reps in, bro.
This was for every. I want everybody to know.
Oh my gosh, your dog is so cute.
That was rep number 1,000 of the day.
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
sure
why-
it was.
Yeah,
She's like, hey, you've
Get
done
up on
enough.
that
Hey,
last-
1,000
I like
is a
how she got
lot.
on your back.
She's like, what are you doing, bro? This is not how we sit or lay down. That's great.
Since I can never do like one hats off, can I like do another one?
You
Yeah.
did 2 hats off with Leech and Wade? Okay.
Of course.
It's just been a crazy time. I want to give hats off to Mark Cuban because like from
Yes.
the get, he was talking about taking care of his employees, taking care of all the stadium workers, and it's been amazing to see how it has just unfolded from there. And I mean, the Broncos, Kroenke, both big teams here have given, and everyone, individual players. So it's been so cool, but it started with him, and he was so passionate about it from day one. And I just think
in this time, we need that kind of humanity. So.
And Mark even has a bank account that the rest of us can only dream about, but it was from the moment that it happened.
Right.
Like, he found out that the NBA had been suspended, and that was immediately where his mind went, and it has continued. His giving has continued. So you're right, Romy. Great, hats off.
It's
Absolutely.
contagious, which has been really cool.
Yeah. So there you go. That is the first Welcome to the Sports Office Quarantine Edition. Thank you guys so much
6
for
feet apart.
joining us. 6 feet apart. No touching, no touching. Before we go, I know we give hats off to Marquee, but also let's thank the grocery store workers. Let's thank our medical first responders, our healthcare professionals, everyone that needs to be doing their job right now. Seriously, you guys are killing it and keeping us safe, and keep them safe by staying indoors and watching more of Welcome to the Sports Office.
We're all in this together.
All in this together.